Have you ever wondered how people afford to travel Australia full time? We've been travelling Australia for 4.5 years, but there's a catch. The money doesn't last forever. Sometimes you have to stop and work. I'm out housekeeping and we have a helicopter. I think it's coming into land.
What? What? I can't hear you. It's a bit loud.
So stick around. We'll show you how to find work, what's available, and how to make it work to keep your adventure going.
Having fun?
It's been a bit of a long day. G'day guys, welcome back for another one. We're doing something a bit different this time around because we're held up working. We really need to cash up the bank account, okay? So, and in doing so, we've been hit with a bunch of questions from you guys, and we're going to use this opportunity now to answer them. First off, who are we? I'm Grant, this is my wife Bianca, we're living like kings. We also travel with our two dogs full time, Frank and Baxter, and we've been on the road for
four and a half years. 4.5 years.
A while.
Yeah.
And it's not always apples and rainbows, is it?
No, and you can't always just be travelling and just, using all of your money to keep living.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to stop here and there and, work, cash up the funds again. And yeah, that's why we thought we'd put this video together, talk you through all the things that we have found ourselves about trying to find work on the road, what type of jobs are out there for someone, that type of stuff.
And it's all based off our experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't done everything. We've spoken to dozens of people who have been working on the road, having different experiences, doing different roles and getting paid different amounts as well. So take it with a grain of salt, and we do urge you to do your own research as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can answer some of your questions, but we're not going to be able to answer all of them.
So I guess to start with, we'll give you a little bit of context about the types of work that we've done while we've been travelling in the last nearly 5 years, 4.5 years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll start off. We hit the road, I think 3 months we were on the road, and we sort of stumbled across an opportunity to work at a roadhouse. We didn't really need money at that point, but we were sort of up for the experience, and we just thought, hey, why not? So I ended up getting the job there as a chef. I'm a chef by trade. I was a chef for about 16 years when I was younger, and I closed that chapter, I think 7 years before we got this job at the roadhouse. And it was certainly an experience. It was 4 months, which felt a lot longer. It was a good place to work. The people we worked for were amazing. They were really lovely people.
Yeah, and it wasn't just Grant working.
So Bianca was doing, housekeeping, front of house.
Yeah.
Sort of more or less running the show when the boss wasn't there too, eh?
Yeah, I did the rostering and things like that and kind of made things work. So I was doing the fuel in the roadhouse, the serving of the food. I did housekeeping as well. Grant was doing the chef, and then you did some gardening and groundskeeping.
I had to
work
get out of the kitchen
as well. We were there for I think 3 months in total. So that was the first place we stopped and worked, and that was only about 3 months into our kind of journey. And then we stopped again probably another 4 months later because we had to wait for our awning. Our awning got damaged and we had to wait for that to come. So we thought, well, while we had to hang around and wait, Grant picked up some more work.
And that was at a grain farm in the southwest corner of Western Australia. That was again another experience. It didn't last for very long. Yeah.
Maybe 8 weeks?
About 8 weeks or so. It just didn't work out with employer. It just didn't work out. So we moved on from that.
Then next I picked up a contract. So I'll maybe talk about it a little bit more in depth in a minute, but I work can work remotely online as well from the caravan. So my background is in, it's kind of like business process improvement, productivity, management consulting type work. So it's quite specialised, but an opportunity came up from my friend that I used to work with, and she had a 9-month contract that I could do remotely from the caravan. So I took on that and did that from the caravan for 9 months. And then I have then since taken another couple of contracts working remotely from the caravan.
But let's get into some questions, eh?
Well, hang on.
Oh.
You haven't even told them where we are now.
Oh, fair enough. Rewind. Where are we now? We're currently in between Proserpine and Mackay on a cane/cattle farm, working for a really nice family, just down to earth. That, you know, they're just nice to work with. And we're here for the cane crush, virtually. So I'm driving a truck, or I was driving a tractor with a couple of bins on the back of it, just running cane. And it's the first time I've ever done it. The qualifications I've needed was really, can you drive the truck? I've got my HC license. It is restricted. I can't drive Road Ranger yet. I just can't get my head around it just yet, but I need more practice. Anyway, so we're doing that. A little bit of general farm duties, like help build a shed roof.
Wired up the truck.
Yeah, doing some 12-volt work, which I hate. Anyway, just general maintenance, pretty much. So far, I've been enjoying it, and it's a pretty good crew to work with.
Yeah, and it's good. It's, you know, we've got a beautiful vista behind us. This is where we've camped, and it's nice and quiet. We've got power. I have to go get water, but that's fine. And yeah, I just sit in the van, and I'm working as well. I do 4 days a week, remote, online. And yeah, we're just going to be cashing up.
It's a good setup because we're here on their property. We're available when they need us. We don't have to, they don't have to call us and then wait an hour for us to get in here. We're here. Yeah. After the phone call, it's like 5 minutes. I just need to slip some shoes on and roll down the driveway.
Yeah.
So it is pretty good for both of us. It's a mutually beneficial agreement.
All right.
Well, let's get into some questions, eh?
Yeah. I've got a couple of sections that I'll go through, and then at the end I've got some extra questions that you guys have put into the posts that I put out that I'll go through those in a bit more detail. So, types of work that's available for someone who's travelling around on the road.
Look, work throws itself at you. I think the first thing you need is to basically just give anything a go. Be open to things, and work will find you. That's a pretty broad, generic, wistful way of saying of answering that question. But to give you more detail, if you have any type of qualifications, well, the qualifications that you'll probably be likely to find work for readily is if you're a tradie of pretty much any description, apart from landscaping, because there's not a lot of landscaping in the middle of the country.
It depends. Caravan parks, golf courses, things like that. It depends.
True. If you have any type of technical trade, you're probably going to find work. If you're a boilie, a diesel fitter, mechanic,
plumber,
electrician, hairdresser,
nurse,
definitely nurse,
teacher,
you will find work anywhere, just about.
Yeah.
Where do you find these jobs?
Not yet.
Well, okay, cool. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. So just to summarise, so types of work that are generally available, you've got hospitality, tourism, caravan parks, roadhouses, that type of work is available.
Station work.
We've got farm work, harvest, bore run, station work, that type of stuff. We've got driving jobs, whether it's water carts, HR, delivery.
Tour guide work as well.
Yeah, tour guide stuff. There's also remote community work. So whether you're a nurse or a hairdresser or a teacher, remote communities are looking out for those people all the time and potentially on short-term contracts. It might be one term or relief work. You also have in the remote communities, like store person, like they all have a general store. So they might have an assistant manager role for a general store. Those things might be a little bit more longer term, like 6 to 12 months. Then you also have like online work, if you can get online work, which is very difficult to get online work, but there's the admin, bookkeeping, like assistant roles, project management staff, business analyst, those type of works you could do online as well. Where do you find work when you're on the road?
For us, it was mainly Facebook.
Yeah.
It was Facebook forums and location-specific job pages. So wherever you might be or wherever you're going to end up or heading to, just jump on Facebook, type in that location and /jobs, and it usually comes up with a page specific to that. So, for example, Mackay cane farming, that's what we did, and we had a look at that, and there were a number of jobs and all people either searching for work or employers looking for workers.
Yeah. So I'll put a list of a couple of the groups that I have used or we have used like in the description that you can have a look. But yeah, just Google Facebook. No, in Facebook search for caravan park industry jobs, harvest haul out jobs, truck driving jobs, remote management jobs, just outback remote jobs. And there'll be lots of different Facebook groups and a lot of things advertised through that. So people will either just jump on as the farmer or the roadhouse operator, whoever it is, and post a direct post on it. Or other people get on there and like post links to Seek ads or Jora or Indeed onto those. Seek and that is also a place that you can go find jobs. It's probably easier to find something just through a Facebook group with a phone number, and you can just send them a message, give them your number, have a chat, and you've got that kind of connection straight away. But we have found the working at Cadney and the harvest work in Salmon Gums on Facebook. This particular role we found through word of mouth. So we were talking to friends and saying, hey, we're going to go up towards Mackay and look for cane work. And she's like, well, I know someone up there. Let me talk to them and I'll give you their number. So that's how we got this. But in the meantime, Grant had also contacted someone else on Facebook and had a chat to them. And that was an opportunity that we would have got another place to go do the harvest at anyway. So I think Facebook is your best bet. The other place is just word of mouth, talking to people, going into the pub, going in, like if you're a plumber, going into the local plumbing hardware place and having a chat to that person. When you drive through the roadhouse, have a chat. Do you have any jobs available? Those type of things.
Pretty much.
How much can you make on the road? So,
how long is a piece of string?
I don't know.
Look, it really depends on it. Sorry that this answer may not be that helpful, but it depends on your experience, what you're doing, where you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. It really depends on all those things. You can rattle through a few things. It's like if you're working as a haul truck driver in the mines, you could be up to between $40 and $60 an hour.
Yeah.
If you're working cane, it could be between $35 and $45 an hour. If you're working in a caravan park, it's going to be less. If it's in hospitality, it's even less again.
Yeah.
It really depends on what you're doing and where you're doing it, who you're doing it for.
Yeah. And then also think about the other benefits that might be attached to whatever that role is. So you might take a hospitality role, which is kind of more minimum wage, but your accommodation is included, or your pulling up of your caravan, your powered site is included, and you might get food included as well. So then you're like, okay, well, I'm not really spending anything while I'm here. So that kind of is a benefit for me.
You have to weigh it all up.
Yeah.
And really, the only way you're going to know is if you just talk to people.
Yeah.
You're not going to lose anything by just calling someone up and having a chat with them and just seeing what's what. And honestly, like maybe your first go at working, let's say cane for someone, maybe you just take it as a bit of a loss and just get the experience, you know.
Yeah.
They may not be offering you quite as much, but they might be giving you accommodation, but it's experience. And then next year when you're worth your salt, then you can charge a little bit more, like, and they might actually be well happy to pay it, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Admin stuff, it's how long is a piece of string? I guess it just depends on like the role as well. I don't even know. I can't give you any guidance.
Are we being helpful at all in this
No,
one?
I don't
think we
know.
are.
I can't.
Sorry.
Can't give you a lot of guidance on that specifically because they're so varied in the types of, like what I do is at a not entry level at all. It would be quite at an expert level. So it's very different to someone who is coming in and has never done that at all. I've just called myself an expert. Is that a bit?
Douchey? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sorry.
So tickets, anyone?
I know.
Tickets going cheap? Yeah, but I do feel like the onus is on you though, like, and it has been on us to do our own research for whatever we are applying for. I spoke to friends that have done this sort of work before, asked them what roughly is an acceptable pay rate, and we've sort of landed on that thereabouts, especially considering I don't have any experience. So full transparency, I'm getting paid about $35 an hour at the moment. I'm not paying for accommodation, water or power, and we're on location. That's fine. Once I get experience or once I've proven myself, hopefully they'll up the rate, but that's a conversation you have to have with your employer.
And the other one I just remembered was the assistant store manager type roles, the remote type roles as well. So the ones that I've seen advertised, they might be a package for a couple, and maybe it's $100,000 for two people to come and work for a year, but you get included in those things. A lot of them, you get a house, you get your internet, you get power, probably get food as well included being in those, or a discount to purchase food in the shop. So a lot of that money, if you're really smart of it, will just go straight to your savings and not actually be expenses. What qualifications do you reckon is going to be handy just for someone to have in the back pocket?
I would say definitely if you're male or female, having a heavy vehicle license is probably a way to go. It definitely helps.
Yeah.
If you're for example, if you were just to get an LR license, you could drive a small bus around a resort. You could, if you get something a bit heavier, you can drive that still. But I mean, for us, Bianca has to have an LR license to drive our F350. I have a HC license. It is restricted. I can't drive Road Ranger as yet. I have every intention of getting it. I just can't get my head around it just yet. But at the moment, I'm driving manual and synchro. Sorry, auto and synchro, and that seems to be getting me by at the moment. But the plan is to get more.
Yeah.
Get it upgraded. If you have any type of machinery experience, especially if you get a grader license, like if you have qualifications in a grader, work will throw itself at you.
Yeah.
And at a good rate too. So if you could drive a grader, you've got it made. But yeah, I reckon truck license
is a good one.
Is a good one to have.
To have if you want to go out and invest in a license. Ones that are good to have but don't cost a lot of money is a police check,
we've never needed one, but it is good to have that just in there in your back pocket. But if you don't have it, it doesn't take very long to get one. I think it's only a couple of days to apply for one. Potentially having a white card is always good as well.
Yeah.
Your RSA, if you're in hospitality, so your responsible service of alcohol is a good one to have. Also a barista course, and having that would be really beneficial for any of those type of hospitality
I mean, that'll
roles.
earn you a little bit of coin just to sort of pay a bit of accommodation here and there, like just being able to make a decent cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think any town you go to, they're always looking for like baristas and, you know, people to work in the bar and things like that. So they're always good to have. Then if you're like a tradie or a teacher or things like that, I just look into being registered in each state, because there is a requirement that, say you're a teacher in Queensland, if you go to Northern Territory to teach, you need to be registered in Northern Territory. Our friend who was a builder went from Sydney to WA and then had to re-register his building license so that he could do that stuff over there. So have a look into that. Be aware of that. You might have to re-register your own qualifications.
Yeah.
In different states. In terms of like online admin work, you can get onto TAFE, and there are some bookkeeping courses that you can do. There's project management, there's business administration work that you could do to do those courses. I think a lot of those roles will require experience as well. It won't just be you've done a course and you magically get a job. So just, you know, take that with a grain of salt, that you might need to get experience. And in saying that, actually, if you are in a town for an extended period of time and you want to be able to work remotely, go in and get a physical job in the town, and then maybe ask if you can transition to remote once you've proven yourself in the office, is probably a good way to transition to remote working for any of those admin type work.
The worst thing they can say is no, and then you just move on.
Because you're already going to move on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no harm for you, but you might get a benefit if you can prove yourself that you're great to work and they really love you. Then they might be like, I don't want to lose this person and have to hire a new person. I'm okay with them to go remote. And then, just make sure you got Starlink and everything else to keep the connection going.
Before Starlink, that was not an option. Because of Starlink, and most people have it these days now anyway, it's costing us like $190 a month or something like that, which is a bit pricey, but we're living full-time on the road and it pays for itself. It enables Bianca to earn a decent amount of coin from it.
And it's a tax deduction as well.
Exactly.
So if you're working now from the caravan, I mean, you can't TADAX.
Oh my God, you come up with the best word.
Can't tax deduct all of it 100%, but, you know, a portion of it can be tax deductible for...
Your hybrid words.
Yeah. All right, so when considering a role, when you're working, as you're travelling around, what are some of the things that you should kind of think about or look for?
In terms of like where you're working, I think accommodation, I think, is probably the main thing.
Yeah. Is it included?
Is included. So ideally, if you can live on location and you're not paying for accommodation, that's ideal. But it's ideal not just for you, but it's ideal for also the employer. It means that if they need you, you're there. They don't have to wait for you to get in from town, which could be an hour or two away. And it's beneficial for you because you're not paying for accommodation.
Yeah, you can save more.
Yeah, you can save more.
Which is good. So look for something that has accommodation or power and water included. If meals are included as well, that's good, because that's an extra thing. You don't have to have an expense for yourself.
That won't happen everywhere, mainly the places that are super remote.
I think the other thing to think about is when you are actually on location or at the back of the roadhouse or wherever, and Grant mentioned being on call is a good thing, but also expect to kind of work more hours than what you get told that you might be working.
It can be a surprise and a bit of a shock, I've got to say.
Yeah.
So but you've just got to kind of be okay with it.
Yeah. So even when we worked at the roadhouse, you think you're on a 8-hour shift and you've got 2 days off during the week, and then someone calls in sick or they're actually too drunk to go to work, or
Which happens a lot more than what you think.
yes, they've hurt themselves, they just didn't show up, whatever, and then because you're just 2 meters away, you get called in, and then you're doing extra shifts and doing double shifts, and you end up working 12, 14 hours a day, and you don't get a day off for like 10 days. So you just be aware of that stuff. So it might be, hey, this is what it's going to be, and it's only going to be, we only need you 5 days a week and we only need you for 5 hours a day. It's most likely going to be more than that. So just kind of factor that in.
It depends on your perspective too. If you're there to make money, then that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Right? So you're going to be incredibly tired and worn out, but you're going to be, slightly richer. So yeah, it's probably not a bad thing. Have a bit of a sense of humour. My other advice too is having a sense of humour, having a laugh with the people you're working with, because generally speaking, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time with people that you're working with. So have a laugh. Don't take things too seriously.
Yeah.
I'm actually currently working with a really great crew, and we're all tired, and so, some of us are more tired than others, but we're and some of us are got better backs than others too. But we all have a laugh, and we actually do have. I find myself having quite a good time at work, even though I am tired. The hours are long, but I actually am loving it here. Yeah, it's great.
All right, we'll get into some of the specific questions that we haven't kind of already answered. How often do we stop for work, and for how long do we stop?
When we need money. And however long the contract is.
Yeah.
Or the season or whatever. Like we're sort of a bit easy breezy when it comes to that, aren't we? Like mainly because of the fact that you are more or less full-time remote.
Yeah.
So before we pull up somewhere, like for example, what we're doing right now, before we pulled up here, doing 5 months of harvest, 6 months of harvest, whatever it might be, Bianca was working Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So that enabled us 3 days of the week to sort of get around and see things. And say like the weekend to get around and see things, and then the Wednesday was generally a move day. And that sustained us. Again, I think this is another answer which is completely entirely dependent on you and your situation. If you have money in the kitty, or and you don't need to work as much, then it'll be fairly infrequent work. If you do need money, and your purpose is to save money, you might be working more frequently, stopping and working more frequently. So it depends on your situation, I guess.
Yeah, I think if you're going to stop in the one location and both of you are just really working hard and you can't really see anything and things like that, like when we did work at Cadney, that 3 months is what we did, and that was a long 3 months. And I think between like the 2 to 3 months is probably where you want it to be, and then you can go get enough money for the next 3 months and then find something else and do another 3 months if that's what you need to do for the...
If you're organised too, right? Like if you can do those 3 months And whilst doing so, you can plan ahead for the next role up the highway somewhere at another place doing something different.
Yeah.
You might be able to do that. We haven't really been needed to do that
No.
so much just yet. But I mean, our circumstances have changed. We do need to start getting some money under our belt. So, thus both of us working.
Yeah.
But we were sustained, and Bianca had a good because she can earn more money than I can in a short period of time. It made more sense for her to do remote, semi-permanent work 4 days a week, and it still enabled us to move around and continue doing YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, I think in short, 3 months is probably a nice little bit. But if you can do 6 months of harvest and have 6 months off, that was some of the other suggestions in the comments of what people were doing. That's also really good as well. Because, 6 months off gives you enough time to travel around, come back, save your money again, and then off you go. But it really is dependent on what you are happy with. And if you can stay in that job for 6 months, because it is a long time. Sorry, you're going to say
No, I was going to say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Another question we got here. Do you contribute to super when you're not working, or do you just let it do its thing? To be honest, we just let it do its thing. So we get super while we are working, and when we're not, it just ticks away in the background. So, yeah.
Pretty much.
If you don't have a lot of super, it's probably something you would need to consider is putting extra into your super. But yeah, we're okay. We just let it tick away. How far in advance do you start to look for work? We have found, especially when you have looking through Facebook, if you see an ad and you ring up and you talk to that person, generally they want you to start within a week.
Pretty much.
Or 2 weeks of that date. So I feel like you don't need to look months in advance, but when you're coming up to the point where you think you might want to start looking and just putting some feelers out there, be prepared that they might say, hey, can you start next week? And be prepared to start next week.
Yeah.
But I would say start at least 6 weeks before you actually really want to settle down or really need to. I would start that look for what work is out there.
If you can plan it further down the track and having it prearranged, and they're okay with you starting 3 months down the road and not needing someone like yesterday, which I can't see that being the case. Generally, if someone's applying, advertising, they want you now.
Yeah.
So if you're going to test the waters, go test the waters. Actually go and start and see if you like it. What have you got to lose?
So the next question we have is, how do you get paid? Do you use your tax file number, or do we have an ABN for when we're working on the road? And quick answer is we just use our tax file number at the moment. I think it is beneficial to have an ABN, and some places do actually want you to have an ABN. But yeah, so far we've just used our tax file number.
It depends on who you're working for, if they want you to be a contractor or if they can pay you via their trust.
How do prospective employers handle only having you for a short term?
Depending on what it is, hey, if it's seasonal work, then that's fine. But then, like the roadhouse, for example, right?
The roadhouse, it was. I think you just have that conversation up front, and the roadhouse, they were like, we would like someone for 3 months to start. So when you're in those type of roles, they know that people aren't hanging around for a long time, and that's their world that they're used to operating in.
They're hiring people that are transient.
Yeah. So they know, and they might ask for 3 months or 8 weeks or so on. I do know other people that are traveling around that, you just be upfront with them. Hey, I'm looking for work. I'm in town for 8 weeks. I can give you 8 weeks worth of work. Is that okay? And it'll be the conversation that you guys have. But we haven't had an issue. And generally when you come, it's like, okay, well, this is the season and this is what we're thinking. And then you still have that check-in point where it's like, is this working for both of us or not? And if it's not, then you can
I do feel like there
is
is an expectation that if you're hiring people that are somewhat nomadic, then they're probably not going to stay for years or a year. They'll probably stay for a monthly period. It might be 3, 6, 9 months.
Yeah.
But it probably won't be much more than 12.
Yeah.
And I think going into it, I think most of the time there is that expectation already there. So, but if there's not, I would suggest still broaching that conversation with your prospective employer.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of this stuff is kind of seasonal work, or it's in such remote areas that they're used to that short period. So they're usually okay with that. So this one's an interesting one, which is, how do we go about dumping the toilet? So when we're camped up on someone's property and things like that. So we had, when we were in Salmon Gums, we had the cassette toilet then. And I actually just drove it. We had 2 cassettes. Did we have 2 then?
We had 2 then.
And I just drove it into town, into the dump point, once a week or so. We did that also when we house sit in Mandurah.
Yeah, we had 3 at that point.
And
that was good.
Yeah, Grant just took the toilets in. Here we have a composting toilet, so it's a lot easier to do this type of work with a composting toilet. You can just empty your pee every couple of days, and then every week or so, depending on the bucket. But the question is, do you put it in a pile or do we spread it around?
Well, you can do both.
I think both.
Depending, have a chat with the people that are employing you.
At the moment, I could just dig a hole and put it all in the one big hole, but I am actually kind of spreading it around a little bit and kind of covering up. And
where people don't walk or anything like that,
It's kind of over the edge there, and we've had a spoke to them and they're fine with that.
Well, they suggested it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the composting toilet, it looks like dirt. It's composting already. It's not super gross, and you can bury it too.
If you give it a couple of months after you've, deposited it somewhere, the composting process continues.
Yeah.
And human waste does take a little bit longer to compost properly, but generally speaking, if you just, that process has already started by the time you've, tipped it out somewhere.
Yeah, and you just dig a little hole and put it in and cover it over, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
This isn't a question, but it's a statement, and we agree with it, which is they have done a couple of house sits and that worked really well for them because you get free accommodation, power and water, and you get to explore the area. And that's a really good tip to save money, not necessarily to get more money into your bank account, but definitely house sits are great.
Well, you could use them in conjunction with actually working for someone too. So you can find a job in a town, and that town might have someone that wants you to house sit.
Yeah.
So
win-win.
Win-win. It can be done. You can find it.
Then the last question I've got here is, I'd love to hear a little bit more about Bianca's admin work. I never know how to really explain what I do, but I basically do, all my background and my experience is in business, process improvement, productivity, improving businesses, organizational restructuring, kind of management consulting, project management work. So it's a little bit more than just admin, what I actually do, and it is quite specialized. And to kind of get into my type of work, you really do need to have a lot of experience in that type of work. I have a degree, a Lean Six Sigma black belt. I have waterfall and Prince to Agile, project management, skills, change management, all those type of things.
I got management. That was
Yeah.
English, but the rest of it wasn't in English, was it?
Exactly. I've got my graduate certificate in business administration as well. So it's a little bit not so easy to necessarily do exactly what I do. But if you are looking to work in a role that you're working from the caravan remotely, some tips that I would say to you is, one, you need Starlink is a must. You need to camp in locations that you have access to the sky so that you have uninterrupted Starlink. Power, you need to be aware of how much power you have in the caravan, because you will be working for 8 hours a day with Starlink on the whole time, with your computer running, potentially your inverter on all day. So you need to have access to the sun or power or a generator.
All the above.
Yeah, so that you're making sure that when you are in communications with people, they can actually communicate with you, because that's not a really good experience when you are being allowed to work remote and then you have dropouts all the time, and it's, it doesn't make that whole thing work very well.
It makes it hard to negotiate if the experience, if you're dropping out, you can't actually do the work. It's like, why are we having, you need to come into the office. So I get it.
You need to make sure that you are actually available, and the times that you're working, you are available for someone to contact the whole time. And I make sure that whatever I'm doing doesn't leave any doubt in anybody's mind that I'm not working and I actually am delivering what I need to deliver. I would say, if you are working for the caravan with a computer, get a second screen. So you don't have to get a monitor. You can get a little portable monitor that's kind of like a big iPad that you have a USB cable that you can plug into your laptop, so that you've got 2 screens to make it easier. You can get a laptop riser that I have that just, puts my laptop up at eye level, so I'm sitting in more of an ergonomic position. And you can have a separate keyboard as well if you wanted to. I don't worry about that. I just use the keyboard on the laptop. But definitely having it at eye level and having a second monitor is a must for being comfortable all day. And you possibly want a butt cushion, because the caravan couches are not really ergonomic. So a butt cushion helps. And then I sit with a cushion behind my back just for a bit of lumbar support. But yeah, what other tips could I give, or context around my work?
Around your work? Well, okay, so like when you're in between contracts, for example, like who are you liaising with? Mostly like recruiters. You're on LinkedIn. You're speaking to people about prospective jobs and trying to plan ahead, because you don't always know if they're going to make you permanent, or if they're going to keep you on beyond the predetermined contract. Right?
Yeah. So I think that's a really good point, because I have been on like a day rate contract before. I've been on a fixed term contract. But when you're on a fixed term contract or a short term contract and that end date is coming up, you have to start looking for something, and it takes a long time to find something else that you can do remote. So that is the biggest challenge. And the advice there is, get a job in a town, be physically located in that town, get the job, and then try to transition to remote once you've got it. And hopefully that your skills and, the value you're adding is enough for them to accept that, or have contacts that they know who you are, and they know they've worked with you previously, so they know how you work and they're okay with that. But yeah, I guess. I don't think I can add more.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. I can't think of much else either.
Yeah, if you have any other questions, definitely let me know, and I'll see if I can answer for that.
Well, I have a question. Like, how long do you reckon we can keep this up? Like, how sustainable is this?
our whole lifestyle of moving around and traveling and like
Well, yeah,
working on
because
the road.
I mean, it's so sort of non-traditional.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lifestyle where we're not brought up thinking that's how you're supposed to live. You know, and it's only been brought out or brought to light in recent years thanks to COVID. I think
I know.
it's not really sort of done, but we are doing it, and there's a growing number of people now that like us that are doing it and that are making it fairly yeah,
Sustainable.
That's the word. Thank you.
All right, so the original question, how long do you reckon we can do this? To be honest, I think we can do this for a very long time. Me personally, I really love the nomadic lifestyle. And I think I've mentioned, if you haven't watched our previous videos, I have lived in about 25 different houses. So I have always been a bit more, nomadic. And my dad was in the army, so I travelled around quite a bit. So for me to be in one place is not the usual for me. And I love the fact that I have my house with me the whole time in the caravan. And it doesn't matter what location I'm in, we have our house with us.
Yeah.
And if we don't particularly feel, comfortable in that location, we can just up and move to a different spot. And it's really freeing being able to still earn money whilst we're doing that. And it's all different ways. So you get to do all different types of jobs around the country in all different locations. Like right now, we're like up in Mackay and we're going, this is amazing. Because otherwise, if we were back at home, we would be in Sydney and rainy, coldy weather and just, probably not as happy as we are now moving
Doing
around
the
and
same thing
changing.
day in, day out.
Yeah.
I don't have the attention span for that.
Yeah.
I've had careers. I've done that, but I think I've moved away from it because it just didn't fulfill me. What fulfills me now is looking at something and going, I wonder what that would be like.
Okay.
And then actually going and giving it a go.
Yeah.
And what? Worst case scenario, I don't like doing it. I don't do it again. Who cares?
And we move on to the next place.
It's actually a really exciting way to live life. And I find that, my headspace is a lot clearer, a bit more positive now than it was when we were doing our traditional lifestyle.
Yeah. And the work-life balance that I have now is so amazing. Before we left and I was in Sydney, I was working long hours. I had 3-hour commute a day on top of my, probably 10, 12 hours that I was doing in the office. I used to travel around the country and like deliver workshops and training and implement new things into businesses, and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, do very similar stuff on the computer and then open the door and walk outside and we're on the beach. And I'm like, how nice.
It's not so bad, eh? Like,
Not so bad.
You slog it out for 8 hours and then you walk outside and you're in paradise. And
Not so bad.
Who else can do that?
Yeah. Hopefully you.
That's what the nomadic lifestyle can offer you if you work for it. So
yeah.
Hopefully that's helped.
I know we've talked a lot.
I know there was a few things that we sort of didn't really offer much value, I've got to say, but maybe it did. I don't know. But if you have any more questions, please get in contact. Drop them in the comments below, and we'll. Your comments will probably help other people as well.
Yeah.
So
anything that we missed,
drop it in the comments because that can help other people. Anything you thought was really a good tip, please let us know. Yeah, like we've talked a lot. Hopefully you did find value in it.
Yeah, I'm sick of listening to our own voices.
Hopefully you can get out here experiencing stuff and like traveling and still earning money at the same time. We've always said you don't need the best of the best to get out here. You can just get out here in a Hyundai Getz and a Swag and get some jobs on the road and start to build up
your whole setup and the way you're doing things, get a job that includes a donga or accommodation to stay in, that has food and everything else like that, and then save all that money, put it into something else, upgrade your setup as you're going, get enough money just to get you to travel to the next place. Like, just do whatever makes you happy. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Probably...
I couldn't agree with that more. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
If you've made it through this far, well done.
Thank you. Please like and subscribe.
And hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks for watching.